want to say to the people that are watching this live on the internet, good afternoon. And as always, it is good to stand before you on the Lord's Sabbath day. You know, sisters and brothers, this is our second leg of this 5-part series. And this Black History Told by the Prophets, Part 2, Slavery. Black History Told by the Prophets, Part 2, Slavery. You know, the Lord put it on my mind a long time ago to do a lesson that was titled Israel Identified Through the Scriptures. But there were so many things that I left out of that lesson until he put it on my mind to do 5 parts. Because Israel covers a whole lot of things, sisters and brothers. And it's not about just a people. The only reason I deal with this is because it is in the Bible and because the Lord obviously wants us to know what's going on. Because we as a people, we come here as slaves. We have been sold as slaves. We have been locked up. We have had everything happen to us. And when we look around in this entire hemisphere, there's nobody that has gone through or arrived in this country like we have. I mean, nobody. Sometimes you need to ask the question, why am I the only one in this hemisphere that came as a slave? Why am I the only one in this hemisphere was sold like cattle? Why am I the only one in this hemisphere that gets killed more than anybody else? You know, you never pay no attention to that, sisters and brothers. We raise a whole lot of Cain because police shoot us, one here, one there, but we don't have nothing to say when our own youngsters kill one another, slaughter one another like pigs in the streets. But all of this, sisters and brothers, I'm going to show you is a part of a curse. And we have a lot of ministers saying we ain't under the curse no more. I said, is that right? Once you get through with this lesson, then you will ask him, if that's the case, then why is this? And you will have a whole lot of lists of why is this. Because the Lord is in control. And what's happening to us, sisters and brothers, I hate to say it, our forefathers brought it upon us. This is one of the things one of the ways that I split with most of my Hebrew Israelite brothers. Because we don't want to acknowledge the transgressions of our forefathers and our transgression. We want to put the blame on everybody else, and we want to hate everybody else for doing something that everybody have to do. Even when Jesus talking about him being deceived, he said all prophecy must be fulfilled. But woe is the one that had to fulfill the bad part. He had to have a betrayer. He said it was better if that man, when he was born, had been put on a millstone and thrown into the river. Because when the Lord called it, somebody got to get executed. But I'm going to show you today, this sisters and brothers, that this execution is not just in America. Because it's one thing that most of my brothers, Hebrew Israelite brothers, think when they talk about slavery, they're talking about the United States of America. Don't even get to Jamaica. Don't get to the Virgin Islands. Don't get to Haiti. Belize, all of these, Bahamas, all of these were slave camps, sisters and brothers. All of them. But we confine everything to here. But I'm going to show you, sisters and brothers, the Lord has already called all of this. We're going to start this in Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter. Because the Lord called it, and just like he called it, and it happened the way he said, when he said he's going to take us out of this condition, I know he's going to do that also. That's what I tell people, pay attention. If the Lord has done everything he said he's going to do in the past, then you know he's going to do it in the future. But we have to pay attention. Now here is the cursing and the blessing when the Lord put before Israel, because the Lord is a God of a covenant God. He goes into agreements with people. And if you don't deal with your end of the agreement, then you're going to suffer the consequences. And there ain't no, well, I made a mistake. Lord, give me another chance. I gave you a chance. I told you to obey me. You should have did it. Now, this is the Lord talking to Israel here. We're going to start it at Deuteronomy the 28th chapter and verse 1. Deuteronomy the 28th chapter and verse 1. Go ahead.
And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe and to do all his commandments which I command thee this day, that the Lord thy God will set thee on high above all nations of the earth.
Now listen what he said now. If you will do all my commandments that I command you this day, he would put you on high above all the nations on earth. That's a big position, isn't it? Go ahead and read.
And all these blessings shall come on thee and overtake thee.
Go ahead.
If thou shalt hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God. Blessed shalt thou be in the city, and blessed shalt thou be in the field.
Go ahead.
Blessed shall be the fruit of thy body, and the fruit of thy ground, and the fruit of thy cattle, the increase of thy kind, and the flocks of thy sheep.
Look, everything that pertains to you is going to be blessed. Wherever you find yourself, you're going to be blessed. The Lord's going to do that if you do what I tell you and keep my commandments. Skip down to verse 10 and read it.
And all the people of the earth shall see that thou art called by the name of the Lord, and they shall be afraid of thee.
And look, because the name of the Lord, sisters and brothers, is Israel. When the Lord chose Jacob, he adopted Jacob and changed his name from Jacob to Israel. If we was named after our father, we should be Jacobites. But no, God gave Israel his name. And so this name that the Lord have given the world and given us is his name. Because that's what you do when you adopt somebody. Isn't that correct? You don't adopt a person and let them keep their name. You give them yours. He said, so the whole earth is going to see that you are called by my name and shall be afraid of you. Well, the whole thing is they're afraid of it, but it's taking a reverse thing. When you're afraid of something, you know, like you're afraid of a snake, what you do, you beat it to death. Right. But had we come under the blessing, it would have been the other way, sisters and brothers. But he said that it's called by his name. That name, Israel. Skip down to verse 12. Verse 12 and go ahead.
The Lord shall open unto thee his good treasure, the heaven to give the rain unto thy land in his season, and to bless all the work of thine hand. And thou shalt lend unto many nations, and thou shalt not borrow.
Boy, that is really something. You mean we going to be the financiers? He's going to open the heavens, he's going to bless you, and you going to lend to many nations. That means that Israel would be the financiers of the whole world, and you ain't going to have to borrow nothing from nobody. All of a sudden, you start to get an idea maybe we didn't get the blessing, huh? Go ahead and read.
And the Lord shall make thee the head and not the tail.
Go ahead.
And thou shalt be above only, and thou shalt not be beneath.
Boy, that is a great big statement. He's going to make you the head and not the tail, and you shall be above only. There is no time that you might slip to second place. No, you're going to be on the top at all times. Only if you had done what I say. And you're going to lend to many nations. You don't have to borrow from nobody. Finish that verse.
If that thou hearken unto the commandments of the Lord thy God, which I command thee this day to observe and to do them.
If you only keep my commandments. And they wasn't hard, sisters and brothers. Ain't nothing hard with keeping the commandments. In fact, keeping the commandments is easy. Sin is hard. You have to go out of your way to sin, sisters and brothers. Keeping the commandments, thou shalt not. It's easier to do nothing than to get up and do something. All you had to do was listen. But then, if you don't do it, you're going to drop the other shoe. Skip down to verse 15 and go ahead.
But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe and to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
He reversed it. All these curses are going to come upon you and overtake you. And I'm going to show you, sisters and brothers, it don't matter what nation you are, what neighborhood you in, they're going to come get you. Go ahead and read.
Cursed shall thou be in the city, and cursed shall thou be in the field.
Go ahead.
Cursed shall be thy basket and thy store. Cursed shall be the fruit of thy body, and the fruit of thy land, the increase of thy kind, and the flocks of thy sheep.
And look, that look like no matter where you are or what you do, you're going to be cursed. The Lord said that's going to happen to you if you fail to keep his commandment. See, the Lord offers a whole lot. I mean, he offers a whole lot. I'm talking about being above only, being the financiers of the whole nation, running the whole, that's a whole lot, isn't it? So if you refuse and reject all of this that the Lord has given you, then he's going to punish you a whole lot. And that's what the Lord is telling you. Skip down to verse 25. Verse 25 and go ahead.
The Lord shall cause thee to be smitten before thine enemies. Thou shalt go out one way against them, and then flee 7 ways before them, and shall be removed into all the kingdoms of the earth.
Now he said, now when you go out against your enemy, they're going to smite you. You're going to go out one way, and they're going to scatter you 7 ways, and you shall be removed, not migrated. You shall be removed into all the kingdoms of the earth. You're going to be taken into all of the kingdoms of the earth because you won't do what I say. Skip down to verse 36. Verse 36 and go ahead.
The Lord shall bring thee and thy king, which thou shalt set over thee, unto a nation which neither thou nor thy fathers have known.
Now, you know, I mean, he's talking about a whole lot of nations because we didn't know nothing but Israel, sisters and brothers. And what you going to do when you get there? Go ahead and read.
And there shalt thou serve other gods, wood and stone.
And you're going to deal with pagan gods. In the old days, they was made out of wood and stone. Now they done all dressed them all up. And everybody got their God that they serve. But when the Lord gave his commandments, he spoke out of fire and smoke. He said because he didn't want you to have a similitude of him, so you wouldn't go making no statue or no picture saying this is the Lord. But everybody got it. Is you going to serve wood and stone when you get there? God that your fathers didn't know nothing about. Go ahead and read.
And thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb,
go ahead,
and a byword.
You know what an astonishment is? People always, boy, what is wrong with these people? You know, I ain't never seen nobody like that. You're going to be an astonishment, a proverb. Somebody always going to be saying, have something cute to say about you. And you're going to be a byword. Somebody always going to put them pet names on you. You know, I can't name them. You know what I mean? He said, but that's going to happen. Go ahead and read.
Among all nations whither the Lord shall lead thee.
So no matter where you find yourself, the conditions are the same. We're going to show you, sisters and brothers, don't have nothing to do with color. It has something to do with the curse. Skip down to verse 41. 41 and read it.
Thou shalt begot sons and daughters, but thou shalt not enjoy them, for they shall go into captivity.
And what's going to happen? What's happened to us? Brought us here as captives of slaves. Even right now, you can't even control your own child. Child act naughty, you whip them, they call DCFS, you go to jail. So you cannot discipline your child, you can't raise your child, therefore they get to shoot him or put him in jail and make money off him. But don't nobody lay this to heart, sisters and brothers. It's all that simple. Skip down to verse 43 and go ahead.
The stranger that is within thee shall get up above thee very high.
Go ahead.
And thou shalt come down very low.
Now he did not name any particular people. When Israel come out of Egypt, it was a mixed multitude. A mix. People from all kinds of nationalities. He just said a stranger that's within you. Going to come up very high, and you're going to come down very low. Look around, you sisters and brothers. See who's selling your groceries. See who's selling your car. See who's selling your home. See whose hospitals you go to. See who's building your houses. All of our merchants look like somebody else. And we're always going to somebody else with the hat in the hand. Brother, can you spare a loan? So he's going to come up very high. You're going to come down very low. Go ahead and read.
He shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him.
Where are our banks at?
Yeah.
Huh?
No.
Go ahead and read.
He shall be the head, and thou shalt be the tail.
And you shall be the tail. But we ain't paid no attention to that, sisters and brothers. Somebody build a house, somebody else fix your car, somebody even cut you the grass if you have a few dollars. The biggest wig wearers in the United States are our women. And Koreans are selling you wigs, and you don't have a part in the franchise and can't get one. And you're the biggest client. Think about it. Think about it. Go to Greek town down there and see who they merchants look like. Go to Chinatown and see who they merchants look like. Go where the Mexicans and the Puerto Ricans, where their neighborhood, and see who is selling them. People that look like them. Do you think that's an accident? The Lord wants, he put this here because he wants you to understand. You got something on you. And won't nobody acknowledge it. They always tell me, well, you should accentuate the positive. I said, show me positive. What verse are we?
We're in verse 45.
Go ahead.
Moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee and shall pursue thee.
They're going to come upon you and they're going to pursue you. You can't run away from them. I got neighbors that moved out of my community. My community used to be nice, you know. Then they're going to move out to a better community. All of a sudden, where did crime come from? I thought we left that. You got one problem. He's sitting in your living room looking at your TV. He is called son. Ain't no escaping. Go ahead and read.
And overtake thee, till thou be destroyed, because thou hearkenest not unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to keep his commandments and his statutes which he commanded thee.
He said, now all this because you will not keep his commandment. You wouldn't listen to him. Go ahead and read.
And they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder, and upon thy seed forever.
They're going to be upon you for a sign and for a wonder. What is a sign, sisters and brothers? Isn't that something that identifies somebody? You want to go to the washroom, you look around, then you got a sign. This is a symbol. Don't have to use the word. Just have female, with a dress on. Oh, that's the women's washroom. Over here, the male's washroom, because it's a sign. So this is a sign and a wonder. The sign is whoever came here as slave, that's Israel. And we're going to show you, when you got here, you're going to be bidded for. All you got to do is look around. And if you don't know why it happened, you're wondering, why this happened to these people? Well, you won't have to wonder no more after the day. What verse are we?
We're at 47. Because thou servest not the Lord thy God with joyfulness and with gladness of heart, for the abundance of all things. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee, in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and in want of all things. And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee.
He said, now look, because you will not serve me with all the goodness I offer you, you're going to serve your enemies in hunger and nakedness and in want of all things. You see people work a full week, 40 and 60-hour week, and you got to decide whether you're going to buy groceries or pay the rent. Work all your life, get tired. Well, I'm a hard worker, said something. I'm going to tell you something, work is a curse. And that ain't no loose statement. Lord told Adam, because you listen to your wife, cursed is the ground for your sake. And you're going to have to earn your living from the sweat of your face until you return to the ground. Now you got to work and labor when you just could have laid up and picked you some fruit off the tree and ate and you was cool. Somebody done brainwash you. You think work is good. I hate work. I just hate being hungry more.
Man.
So he's telling you, you're gonna labor. And you still work hard and broke down, get sick, go to work, everything, but you still want everything because you don't have enough money to supply most of your needs. Skip down to verse 64 and go ahead.
And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people, from the one end of the earth even unto the other.
Go ahead.
And there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone.
See, I'm going to tell you some of the other gods we serve. We don't even know it, sisters and brothers. And like tomorrow, it's Sunday. Nobody ever paid attention. Why is it called Sunday? Because it was the day of the sun worshipers. Prove me a liar and investigate it. Sun worshipers. Christmas, winter solstice. 25th day is the longest day after the shortest day. Because the pagan was afraid of the dark. All the pagans want to go to heaven. I tell people all the time, you can't read one time. I won't put the burden of 2 times on you. You can't preach one time where God said he's going to take you to heaven. But from Genesis to Revelation, he said he is coming here. So whose gods are you serving? We don't know nothing about the God of Christmas, about the God of Easter, about the God of Sunday. Christ didn't rise on Easter Sunday. That is the day of the goddess of fertility. You read up on the goddess of fertility, and you make sure that you close to your washroom so you can go throw up. That's what you serving. Ignorance, sisters and brothers. Ignorance is dangerous. That old lie they told you, what you don't know won't hurt you. Sisters and brothers, that's a lie. What you don't know is what kills you all the time. Right. You don't know you're sick, so you don't go to the doctor. You end up dropping dead. Go ahead. What verse?
Verse 65. And among these nations shalt thou find no ease, neither shall the sole of thy foot have rest. But the Lord shall give thee there a trembling heart and failing of eyes and sorrow of mind.
And that's where we are right now. Ain't no ease. We scared of everything. You driving, police pull you up, you shaking. What's up? This ain't no ease. It's always a never-ending story. What verse was that?
That was 65. We are 66.
Go ahead and read.
And thy life shall hang in doubt before thee, and thou shalt fear day and night, and shall have none assurance of thy life.
Who is the most likely to get killed in this country? I'm going to show you his other countries too. I mean, you can get killed just by getting up in the morning. So your life shall hang in balance. And so you should have no assurance of your life. And what else is he going to do? Skip down to verse 68. Verse 68 and go ahead.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
See, Egypt to us is a house of bondage. The Lord already told you, you ain't going back there. Not as a people. A house of bondage. In other words, this is the Egyptian was our first slave, sisters and brothers. This is what brothers don't understand. You got brothers running around telling me, I'm an Egyptian. Mister, that was your first slave.
That's right. That's right.
So when he said that, that means he's going to take you into captivity by ships. And once you get here, what's going to happen to you? Go ahead and read.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. By the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. And there you shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you.
How do you think we got here? Did we get here by ships?
Yep.
Was it a cruise or yacht? I want you to show me. You see the ships over there? You see the feet over there? Can y'all flash that up, brother? I want you to look at how you came on these ships. How they stack you up like planks. You understand? Y'all see that up there? You know what they did? They had feet one way, and then they had head the other way. I would much rather have been on the top row. And it was so bad until they would actually pack your rectum. So you can't have a movement. But they couldn't stop the urine. You understand? That's why a lot of people died. And once you got here, he broke you off that ship. And you were sold for male and female slaves. Tell me, is there anybody else in this hemisphere that this happened to? That's why I said a simplicity. Now, we have heard the curse and we have heard the blessing. Now let's go and see which one we're under. Let's go into Daniel, the 9th chapter. Daniel, the 9th chapter. See, people make all kind of claims and all kind of boasts, but when it comes down to it, the word of God tell it all. All you got to do is read this book and look around you. I tell people all the time, if it's the word of God, you can go into history and find it. If the prophecy is for time past, you can go into history and find it. Because if God spoke it, it's going to come to pass. Daniel's the 9th chapter, and we're going to start reading at verse 9. Daniel's 9 and verse 9. Read it.
To the Lord our God belong mercies and forgiveness. Though we have rebelled against him.
Now, so we've done that. Skip down to verse 11. Let's look at the fruit of our labor. Go ahead and read.
Yeah. All Israel have transgressed thy law. Even by departing.
Boy, I tell you, this new system never ceases to surprise me. Are we straight now? Started back over at verse 11. Go ahead and read.
Yeah. All Israel have transgressed thy law, even by departing, that they might not obey thy voice.
See, that's what I tell you about sin. You have to do something. So they departed because they would not obey his voice. Go ahead and read.
Therefore the curse is poured upon us, and the oath that is written in the law of Moses, the servant of God, because we have sinned against him.
Ain't that something? So the curse is poured upon us, sisters and brothers. The very law that Moses wrote, we are under it right now. We are in the throes of a curse. Go ahead and read.
And he hath confirmed his words,
yes, sir,
which he spake against us, and against our judges that judged us.
Go ahead.
By bringing upon us a great evil. For under the whole heaven hath not been done as hath been done upon Jerusalem.
We gonna show you the whole world, but right now, under the heavens here in this hemisphere, has anybody had it done to them what has been happened to us, sisters and brothers? No. It simply have not happened. And we don't want to acknowledge that. We go to church and we get full of the Holy Ghost. We shout, we scream and we holler and we follow a child, and you don't know who you are, where you came from, or who your God is, or that you are even the chosen people and what you was chosen for. I ain't never seen nobody go in the crap game and lose all his money and get up and shout. It's a time to mourn. So we have come under the curse, sisters and brothers. You know why? Because we didn't pay no attention to the Lord and we didn't take heed and learn what he said. Let's go into Isaiah, the 5th chapter. Isaiah chapter 5. A lot of times people don't like to be taught. They want to make you feel good. I'm going to tell you something. Truth make you feel good. Sometimes, you know, I wrote in an identity pamphlet a long time ago, Lost Tribes of Israel. And one of the things I made note of, had I not found the Lord, I would be dead or in jail. Because I had a problem. Why all this has happened to me and it don't happen to the other guy? I had me a real problem. And I'm going to tell you something. I used to be a real hostile and destructive brother. Extremely dangerous. Because I was angry all the time. I raised up in the South, and I saw what happened to my people in the South. I went to Mr. Reynolds, whose son called my daddy Leonard. I saw a whole lot of things, sisters and brothers. My age bracket, a lot of guys from the South in my age bracket saw a whole lot of things. And I was angry. And I'm going to tell you something, when I got here, I was angry. And if I had not found the Lord, God is my witness, I would be either jail or dead. Because I was angry. Because I didn't know what was happening. But when I found out what was happening to me, that fixed it. I said, oh, I see why I'm here. And I see the same one that promised to put me here, he promised me that he's going to take me out of here. Mm-hmm. Now I learned patience. Mm-hmm. 5 and 11. Isaiah 5 and verse 11. Go ahead.
Woe unto them that rise up early in the morning, that they may follow strong drink.
Go ahead.
That continue until night to wine and flame them.
Now, these are people that's partying all the time. We got a big record of that, don't we? Mm-hmm. And don't do what? Go ahead and read.
And the harp and the viol and tabret and pipe and wine are in their feasts.
Go ahead.
But they regard not the work of the Lord.
But we don't regard not the work of the Lord. Go ahead and read.
Neither consider the operation of his hand.
Uh-huh.
Therefore my people are gone into captivity, because they have no knowledge.
Why are we in captivity?
We have no knowledge.
Because we have no knowledge, sisters and brothers. We hate knowledge. Try to talk the Bible to somebody. Oh, look. Oh, I don't want to hear it. Well, see, I got a degree. I'm a professor, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. But whatever money you make only help you. It don't help your people.
That's right.
Have you ever noticed that? Great celebrities, millions of dollars, but your condition have not changed. Have you ever wondered why? Go ahead and read.
And their honorable men are famished, and their multitude dried up with thirst.
He said, look, we have gone into captivity because we have no knowledge. Our honorable men are thirsty. In other words, they don't have no knowledge. The people we hold in high esteem. Mm-hmm. Therefore, the people are dried up with thirst. We are all starving for knowledge, sisters and brothers. Sometimes I have some brothers call me, black organizations call me and say, brother, we got to help the people. We got to get out to help the people. I say, yeah, I got a solution for that. What's that? Teach them about their God. Oh, brother, look, that thing never worked. How do you know? You never tried it. No knowledge. Go ahead and read.
Therefore hell hath enlarged herself and opened her mouth without measure.
Go ahead.
And their glory and their multitude and their pomp, and he that rejoiceth shall descend into it.
Now look, sisters and brothers, we have been taught that hell is where the devil is barbecuing people. But hell, sisters and brothers, is a state of condition. Now, the lake of fire is one. You understand? But then hell is hell when you work all day and you can't even pay all of your rent. You got a car, you can't pay for it, but you need the car to go to work, so you have to hire it to keep the repo man from getting it. It's hell when you got children, you can't discipline them. Hell come in a whole lot of conditions, and believe me, hell have increased itself among us. We want to think it's better, but you look around your sisters and brothers. Look around you. Everybody's in church, but your children are dying in the street from dope, gunfire, daughters prostitute. How is it that we can be so happy under these conditions? With just a little teaching could turn them around. So we are in captivity because we have no knowledge. And we're going to go into Song of Solomon, and we're going to read Song of Solomon. It ain't got nothing to do with strange women. It's got something to do with the Lord and his people. Songs of Solomon, the first verse. We're going to pursue this a little bit because we look at the Bible and we think, people don't know it, haven't taught it. So most people look at the Bible as a fairy tale, sisters and brothers. And you want to bring them, I don't want to hear that. Maybe you should listen this one time because something just might be said. Now, we are going to look at this because we are doing it like the Lord said, here a little and there a little, line upon line, precept upon precept. That's how the Lord said he's going to teach knowledge. Because we can't interpret it, so we have to follow it and let one place tell you what the other place means. Verse 4, Songs of Solomon 1 and verse 4. Go ahead.
Draw me, we will run after thee. The king hath brought me into his chambers.
Go ahead.
We will be glad and rejoice in thee. We will remember thy love more than wine, the upright love thee.
And we're going to show you this is not talking about King Solomon. Mm-hmm. This is talking about the Lord. So draw me and we will run after you. The upright love you. Go ahead and read.
I am black, but calmly, O ye daughters of Jerusalem.
This is the king talking here. Mm-hmm. Say that again because your mic went out.
I am black, but calmly, O ye daughters of Jerusalem. As the tents of Kedar, as the curtains of Solomon.
Now, this guy, so he's black and he's beautiful. He's black as Solomon's curtains. So we're going to pursue this guy. So we're going to read half of this 6th verse, and we're going to get back to it. Go ahead and read.
Look not upon me because I am black, because the sun hath looked upon me.
He said, look not upon me because I'm black, because the sun hath looked upon me. You ever seen anybody get black by getting the sun tan? They get red or either skin cancer. But I ain't never seen one black. Because the sun have looked upon me, but we're going to get a key here. Go ahead and read.
My mother's children were angry with me.
My mother's children was angry with me. We're going to get back here. But we're going to find out who it is. Mother's children was angry with them. Let's go into Psalms, the 6th and 9th chapter. See, this is how you find out stuff, sister and brother. You have to run it down. If you don't run it down, then you're going to end up interpreting something. And I'm going to tell you something. You can't interpret the word of God. How can you interpret the mind of a being that created you out of dirt? And you can't stop yourself from getting old. Psalm 69. And we're going to start reading at verse 6. Psalms chapter 69 or the 69th Psalms. You know, I don't have all them etiquettes like the other people, so I just said chapter to me. And we're going to start reading at verse 6. 69 and verse 6. And the reason we take our time because we want you to read this too. Because a lot of stuff you're going to read, you ain't going to believe. Unless you read it. Verse 6, go ahead.
Let not them that wait on thee, O Lord God of hosts, be ashamed for my sake.
Now this is somebody that's talking to the Lord of hosts. He must have a lot of pull with the Lord of hosts. Because he said, let not them that wait on thee, O Lord of hosts, be ashamed for my sake.
That's right.
And when you say, give somebody a break for my sake, that means you got some pull with them, don't it? That's right. Go ahead and read.
Let not those that seek thee be confounded for my sake.
Now let not those that seek thee be confounded for my sake. Go ahead and read.
O God of Israel, because for thy sake I have borne reproach.
Oh, he said, because for thy sake I have borne reproach. In other words, those that I send to you, hold them up for my sake, because I'm taking the hit for your sake.
That's right.
He said, because for thy sake I have borne reproach. Go ahead and read.
Shame hath covered my face.
Shame hath covered my face.
I am become a stranger unto my brethren.
I'm a stranger to my brethren.
And an alien to my mother's children.
And I'm an alien to my mother's children. This guy have really given up a lot, haven't he? He have given up a whole lot, sisters and brothers. Go ahead.
For the zeal of thine house hath eaten me up, and the reproaches of them that reproach thee are fallen upon me.
So this guy said, for the zeal of thine house, O Lord, have eaten me up. And the reproaches of them that reproach thee has fallen on me. Yes, sir. Let's go and see who did all this talking that we just got through reading about. Let's go into Romans the 15th chapter. Romans chapter 15. That's how you find stuff out, sisters and brothers. Instead of letting somebody tell you where the Holy Ghost just spoke to me and it told, no, I ain't never heard the cat talk. When people come to where, you know, the Spirit talking to me, I don't tell them he didn't because I don't know. I can only vouch for me. He ain't said nothing to me. But I read this book. You understand what I'm saying? Romans 15, Romans the 15th chapter, Romans chapter 15, and we're going to read verse 1, 15 and verse 1. 15 and 1. Okay, read it.
We then that are strong ought to bear the infirmities of the weak, and not to please ourselves.
Go ahead.
Let every one of us please his neighbor for his good to edification.
He said, now look, it is good, we are not to please ourselves, but to please our neighbor. And be concerned about everybody else's edification. Why is that? Skip down to verse 3 and go ahead.
For even Christ pleased not himself.
For even Christ pleased not himself. Go ahead and read.
But as it is written.
But as it is written.
The reproaches of them that reproach thee.
The reproaches of them that reproach thee.
Fell on me.
Fell on me. We committed the sin, but he died on the cross for it. So who was this that says his mother's children was alien? He was alien to his mother's children. Jesus, sisters and brothers. Who was it that paid the price that his people made? Jesus. That's why he said, I have bad reproach for your sake. Mm-hmm. So those that come to you in my name, I want you to listen to them for my sake. Mm-hmm. I think that's a fair trade. So now, that let us know then who is doing all this talking that says my mother's children was angry with me? Jesus, sister and brother. This one that said he's black. Let's go back and we're going to pursue it some. Back to Songs of Solomon. The first chapter, and we're going to read the second half of this 6th verse. Mm-hmm. The second half of the 6th verse. Okay, read it.
Look not upon me because I am black, because the sun hath looked upon me.
Go ahead.
My mother's children were angry with me. They made me the keeper of the vineyards.
My mother's children was angry with me, and they made me keeper of the vineyard. Go ahead and read.
But mine own vineyard have I not kept.
He said, but my own vineyard I have not kept. So now we need to find out who the Lord's vineyard is, sisters and brothers. Let's go into Isaiah the 5th chapter and find out. So these things, sisters and brothers, we cannot circumvent. We have to go and read it. The Lord said, he said, look, they have made me keeper of other vineyards. Who are they? The people themselves. Because God don't bless sinners, sisters and brothers. We're for sinners. And he told you to do what he said. And if you do what I say, I'm going to make you the top people on earth. But you don't, I'm going to curse you. So he said, so now, my mother's children are angry with me, and they made me keeper of other vineyards, while my own vineyard has gone unkept. Let's look at this same love story that's going on in Songs of Solomon. Isaiah 5 and 1. Isaiah chapter 5 and verse 1. Go ahead.
Now will I sing to my well-beloved, a song of my beloved touching his vineyard.
Go ahead.
My well-beloved hath a vineyard in a very fruitful hill. And he fenced it and gathered out the stones thereof.
Go ahead.
And planted it with the choicest vine. And built a tower in the midst of it.
Go ahead.
And also made a wine press therein. And he looked that it should bring forth grapes, and it brought forth wild grapes.
He said, look, he planted a vineyard and he gave it everything it needed to function and prosper. Because this grapes, he's looking for his righteousness. And when he looked for grapes, it brought forth wild grapes. He gave us some good laws, good commandments. The wild grapes of sin. So go ahead and read.
And now, O inhabitants of Jerusalem and men of Judah,
go ahead.
Judge, I pray you, betwixt me and my vineyard.
Judge between me and my vineyard. Go ahead and read.
What could have been done more to my vineyard that I have not done in it? Wherefore, when I looked that it should bring forth grapes, brought it forth wild grapes?
He said, look, you judge, what could I have done more? When the Lord brought Israel out of Egypt, sisters and brothers, first thing, he destroyed Egypt to get us out. Then he split the Red Sea. Then he come over and he took the land from the Canaanites. And then he gave us all that we wanted, even crops and fields and homes that we didn't build. He was so skillful. He said, look, I'm going to send hornets in and drive these people out so you won't destroy the house. You just walk right on into your fully furnished house. With a field that's full of all kind of food. Flocks untouched. I've given you everything. Then I gave you some good laws and statutes to live by. But when I looked for grapes, I found wild grapes. He said, I want y'all to tell me, what could I have done more for this vineyard? Go ahead and read.
And now go to. I will tell you what I will do to my vineyard.
Wait a minute. It should have been now go to. Now I'm going to tell you what the Gentiles and the strangers are going to do to my vineyard. You sure it didn't say that?
What I'm going to do to my
He
vineyard.
said, I'm going to tell you what I will do to my vineyard. Go ahead and read.
I will take away the hedge thereof.
I will take away the hedges thereof. Go ahead.
And it shall be eaten up. And break down the wall thereof.
I'm going to break the walls down. It's going to be,
and it shall be trodden down.
Go ahead.
And I will lay it waste.
I will lay it waste.
It shall not be pruned nor digged, but there shall come up briars and thorns.
Go ahead.
I will also command the clouds that they rain no rain upon it.
I mean, I'm not going to give this vineyard no kind of break because it could have been the top vineyard on the planet. Ain't going to rain no rain on it. Go ahead and read.
For the vineyard of the Lord of hosts.
For the vineyard of the Lord of hosts.
Is the house of Israel.
Is the house of Israel. Go ahead.
And the men of Judah, his pleasant plant.
Oh, so now I know what the Lord meant when he said, you have made me to keep up other vineyards while my own vineyard's going unkept. He can't keep us because we will not obey him. So he's keeping all the other vineyards. Who is doing worse than you?
Nobody.
Because the Lord is keeping. All the crops that come out the ground, the Lord is the one that put the rain on it. All the oil and material they use to make planes and cars and everything, the Lord is the one that enriched the earth for them to get it and gave them the wisdom to use it. The only thing he didn't give them is the word of God, because he can't breach his own commandment. So everybody else is doing fine. He's keeping every other vineyard. But his vineyard is laid waste that everybody that want to come in and use it can. Everybody come in your community, get rich and go and leave. Why? Because you're not being kept and the Lord is keeping them. Why is that? Let's go into Jeremiah, the 2nd chapter. Jeremiah, the 2nd chapter. But we want to put this on everybody's laid blame. See, the problem is, sister and brother, when you're busy laying blame, you don't have time to think about how can we fix this. You understand what I'm saying? I don't even deal with the blame game. Like in the building, this building out here, we had a rough time. Some things went bad. Some of the brothers did some stuff that didn't work out too good. Everybody, I said, no, we ain't going to argue. We ain't going to fight. What we're going to do is find out how to fix it. Spend your energy on how to correct the problem instead of pointing and blaming for who made the problem. It's all that simple. Don't worry about who threw your ox in the well. You concentrating on how you're going to get him out. Because he's in the well. So the Lord said, look, I brought these people and look what they did. Jeremiah 2. We're going to start reading at verse 14. 2 and 14. Okay, read it.
Is Israel a servant? Is he a homeborn slave? Why is he spoiled?
See, when you understand who Israel is and he carried a name, he wasn't created to be no servant. He wasn't created to be no slave. He said, then why is he spoiled? I'm going to show you why. Skip down to verse 19. Verse 19 and go ahead.
Thine own wickedness shall correct thee.
Go ahead.
And thy backsliding shall reprove thee. Know therefore and see that it is an evil thing and bitter that thou hast forsaken the Lord thy God, and that my fear is not in thee, saith the Lord God of hosts.
He said, I want you to know this is an evil thing, and it's bitter that you done forsaken me. Go ahead and read.
For of old time I have broken thy yoke and burst thy bands, and thou saidest, I will not transgress, when upon every high hill and under every green tree thou wanderest playing the harlot.
He said, look, you telling me you ain't going to break my law, but all the time you are promising me that you're going to serve me, you're serving every pecking God on the planet. Even while you telling me. Go ahead and read.
Yet I had planted thee a noble vine.
He said, but yet I planted you a noble vine. We read that. Didn't he say he gave them everything that they need? Go ahead and read.
Wholly a right seed.
Only a right seed. Go ahead.
How then art thou turned into the degenerate plant of a strange vine unto me?
This is what your God said by it. I planted you a noble vine. Royalty was with you. Rulership was with you. Leadership was with you. How have you become the degenerate plant you are that can't even take simple instructions? And you don't listen to nobody. That's why I tell people all the time, this ain't got nothing to do with no other people. This is between me and my God. Skip down to verse 30. What the Lord say about us. This is us. Verse 30. Go ahead and read.
In vain have I smitten your children. They receive no correction.
Go ahead.
Your own sword had devoured your prophets like a destroying lion.
So who killed the prophets of Israel? Israel, sisters and brothers. So who you going to be? He said, you won't receive correction. I'll beat you and beat you. I'll send you from captivity to captivity. You cry out. When you go and read about these people, we're in and out of captivity all the time. When we cry, the Lord come and he visits and get us out. Soon as we start doing well, we forget about it. He said, your own prophets swore to kill your prophets. Go ahead and read.
O generation, see ye the word of the Lord. Have I been a wilderness unto Israel?
Go ahead.
A land of darkness? Wherefore say my people, we are Lord's. We will come no more unto thee.
Now we got people, even nowadays, we got Israelites like that. They spit on the name of Jesus. Don't want to keep no commandments. And want other people to bow to them. Why? Oh, we all Lord. You know, we the chosen people. You telling me that you're dancing and you don't have no feet. You have deceived yourself. Telling people to kiss your feet. 3 or 4 of them. One police come down and say, get off the corner, partner. Yes, sir. Where's all this power you got? The only power you had is the power of your God, and you walked away from him. Because you won't keep his law, sisters and brothers. Jesus said the same thing. Let's go into Luke the 13th chapter. Luke chapter 13. That's why I keep saying to myself, how is it that I can lay any blame on any other people when I look at this book? Luke chapter 13. We're going to start reading at verse 34. Luke 13 and verse 34. 13 and 34. Because I'm going to tell you something, sisters and brothers. The first step of solving a problem is to acknowledge that you have one. Once you find out that you have it, now you can get to working on it. But if you keep walking around with blinders on, we ain't got no problem. The whole world got a problem. Just like that old saying about a woman watching her son in a parade. He going east and everybody else is going west. All them other people are out of step and going in the wrong direction. That's the mentality that we have been practicing. Verse 34, go ahead.
O Jerusalem, Jerusalem, which killeth the prophets.
This is Jesus talking here. Oh, Jerusalem, Jerusalem, which killeth the prophets. Go ahead and read.
And stonest them that are sent unto thee.
And stoned all them. And today is no change. And it stoned them that are sent to you. Go ahead and read.
How often would I have gathered thy children together, as a hen doth gather her brood under her wings, and ye would not.
He said, how often would I have gathered you together? Wait a minute. This is a man that died at 33 years old. What time did he have to gather Jerusalem together all these many times? From Genesis to Malachi. Because Jesus is the God of the Old Testament. He is the one that set the curses and the blessing before us. He is the one. He's the one that gave us the commandments, the dietary law, the Sabbath day. That's why I know, because it tells you in Hebrews, Jesus Christ the same yesterday, today, and forever. That's why I know that the Sabbath day is still the 7th day of the week. Dietary law is still good. He said, but look, how many times I would have gathered you together like a hen gather her brood, but you would not. So what else did he say? Go ahead and read.
Behold, your house is left unto you desolate. And verily I say unto you, ye shall not see me until the time come when ye shall say, blessed is he that cometh in the name of the Lord.
That's when he cracked them heavens, sister and brother. But he said, look, So behold, your house is left unto you destroyed. Somebody else is in your house. And you are in everybody else's house. It's all that simple. Let's go into Jeremiah the 12th chapter. This is the Lord is talking here. And I want you to listen to the Lord and stop listening to people that's trying to tell you that everybody else is responsible for our condition. I'm going to tell you something. I say it all the time. There's no man could destroy this people as thorough as we have been destroyed. Jeremiah the 12th chapter. Jeremiah chapter 12. Jeremiah chapter 12. And we're going to start at verse 7. Jeremiah 12 and verse 7. Okay, go ahead.
I have forsaken mine house. I have left mine heritage. I have given the dearly beloved of my soul into the hand of her enemy.
Ain't that something? He said, I've forsaken my house. He said, you made me a keeper of the vineyard. He said, I have given the dearly beloved of my soul into the hand of our enemies. Well, we ain't got no enemies. Think about what people be doing to you, and you better rethink that. Go ahead and read.
Mine heritage is unto me as a lion in the forest. It crieth out against me. Therefore have I hated it.
Oh, God can't hate. What does he say here? Just like a lion in the forest. It cries out against me. Therefore I hated it. Go ahead.
Mine heritage is unto me as a speckled bird. The birds round about are against her. Come ye, assemble all the beasts of the field, come to devour.
He said, now look, my heritage is like a speckled bird. You don't fit nowhere. Just like you got a black bird with white spots. He can't fit with the white bird. Hey, you black with white spots. Then you go over to the black bird. Oh, you black with white spots. You don't look like us. You don't even fit in your own community. So you're just like a speckled bird. All the other birds, in other words, you're just like a tainted people. All the other people round about are against you. But you don't know that. I'm going to tell you something that is always used and nobody pays no attention. Everybody else talk about me, me, me. But the only one that used the word minority is you. Because you want to include everybody into that little bitty crumb that you're getting, and they don't want to include you into nothing. But this is the curse, sisters and brothers. And one of the biggest things is we still don't look at our God. What verse are we?
We have verse 10.
Go ahead.
Many pastors have destroyed my vineyard.
Then and still doing it. Go ahead and read.
They have trod my portion underfoot. They have made my pleasant portion a desolate wilderness.
And that's what we are. We don't know nothing. You got people walking in the street, marching in the street, telling them, up with hope, down with dope. And all that foolish talk. What you need to do is come together. Years ago, I wrote in that same pamphlet. I said, we could solve our problem, our financial problem overnight. Why don't we shop with one another and we build businesses? We build commerce. You spend your money with me. My business get big. I'm going to let your son run my business. The money is there, but you ain't got sense enough to use it because you're under the curse. And we don't trust one another. And sometimes we should not. But all this is there, sisters and brothers, for us to look at. You turn to your God, all this can be fixed. But go ahead and read.
They have made it desolate, and being desolate, it mourneth unto me. The whole land is made desolate because no man layeth it to heart.
He said, look, you've made it desolate. The pastors have made it desolate. The people that's in charge have destroyed my land. And saying all of it is desolate, and ain't nobody even giving it a thought. Nobody asked the question, why is this happening to me? Nobody gave it a thought. Go ahead and read.
The spoilers are come upon all high places through the wilderness. For the sword of the Lord shall devour from the one end of the land even to the other end of the land.
Whose sword is it going to devour?
The sword of the Lord.
He said the spoilers will come up, but the sword is the sword of the Lord. And he's going to devour from one end of the land to the other. Go ahead and read.
No flesh shall have peace.
And no flesh shall have peace. Sisters and brothers, the Lord took down Israel as a nation. First, he took 10 tribes out by the Assyrians. Then he took 9 tribes, brother. Then he took the other 3 tribes out by the hand of the Babylonians. And we all scattered. Then the last government we had was taken down in 70 A.D. And Jesus prophesied it. Let's go into Luke, the 19th chapter. Luke chapter 19. Because, sisters and brothers, the Lord put this here, and nobody read it. You go and your guy go read something, and he get you all whipped up in emotion and music, boom, 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 boom. Everybody gets all that, and then he talk real serene, with you with nice music in the background. And when you leave, you ain't like nothing. My children don't listen to me. Maybe they would if you had something to say. This is the problem. What do we have to say?